Record.
Hey everybody, it's Dr.
Record.
Hey everybody, it's Dr. Richie Forte with Limitless Chiropractic here for your next spinal workshop. Again, I want to thank you for tuning in and listening to us. Our goal is to give you as much information as we can to make your lives in chiropractic offices and in just the lifestyle changes that you want to make as easy as possible and point you in the right direction of the resources to utilize so you can make your own decisions on what you choose to do for yourself and for your family. Okay, so we're going to talk about something that it has been a common theme among people who have not been to chiropractors in talking about chiropractic and more talking about chiropractic in a bad way. And what we're talking about today is, are you chirodependent? What that means is we're going to really debunk that statement of once you go to a chiropractor, you have to go for the rest of your life. No ifs, ands, or buts. So we are going to talk about that because that is not true if you utilize it properly. And we're going to talk all about that today. And we're going to talk about why some people do actually go to the chiropractor for the rest of their life. And I hope it helps to shed some light on a very big misconception and myth in the chiropractic space. So before we dive into talking about dependency and chirodependent, I want you to realize that chiropractic is the leading profession in holistic healthcare. Okay? We are the top dogs, we're the largest profession in holistic healthcare, and our job is to help you facilitate your body's ability to heal. We're not taking that fact away from you. Chiropractic does not heal you, you heal you. You are amazing. We are not taking that job. We do not want that credit. We are just a holistic way to be a tool for your body to use to become more efficient. So let's dive into, are you chirodependent? So what does dependent mean? It's an adjective and it is relying on another for support. So you cannot accomplish X without Y. You rely on something. So don't rely on chiropractic. Chiropractic is here to help you do the things that you need to do so you can rely on you. So let's talk about some of the questions or the statements that can make somebody appear to be chirodependent. Okay, I don't get headaches if I go to the chiropractor, number one. Number two, as long as I get adjusted, my low back does not hurt. Two. And number three, I only get neck pain if I don't get adjusted. So the thing that these three statements have in mind is there's a dependency on the chiropractic adjustment for us to not feel X, Y, or Z. And okay, well, so let me ask you, and this is thought in at least in the United States to be like, the work, this profession that's for you that wants to sink their teeth into you and to hold on to you forever. And that could be the farthest thing from the truth. Let me ask you a question. If you go into your primary care provider and they say you have high blood pressure and they say you're going to be on these blood pressure medications for the rest of your life, most people don't even bat an eye and they'll take them forever. But God forbid you have to walk into a chiropractic office for a lifetime. That's overutilization. That's not okay. They're mean doctors and they're trying to just sink their teeth into you. That doesn't make any sense. Those people who go into the primary care provider with high blood pressure and they walk out with a script for blood pressure medication, they're going to be out for the rest of their life, are now blood pressure medication dependent. Okay? You can be dependent on anything you need that you choose to add into your life if you don't work it properly. Why that primary care provider didn't talk to you about exercise, dietary changes, and lifestyle changes to help your body naturally lower your blood pressure is beyond me. But guess what? We could take a pill for forever because it's not as inconvenient as going somewhere, and it's the norm. It's normal. Everybody takes pills. So why don't I get another prescription? It's normal. It's not normal. It's common. Take that back. Normal is your body functioning properly for your entire life. Common is what we have here in the United States. A broken system of healthcare where people are walking around sick and reliant on doctors and medications for the rest of their life. They are kept sick enough to need them, but well enough not to die. That is a terrible, morbid system, and we all bought into it. So let's dive in. There's two scenarios that come up when I talk about chirodependency. Scenario one, that person says, chiropractic did not work for me. Chiropractic doesn't work. It doesn't work for my body, or it doesn't work for me. Chiropractic doesn't work. But most of the times when I talk to a patient that says chiropractic has never worked for me, I say, let's have a conversation about that. What does that look like? Well, there was no plan of care put in place. It was a symptom-based care, so there's not enough chiropractic care or visits in the beginning to start to change things. The patient becomes the doctor and dictates when they think they should go back. And then you get the need to keep coming back. Why? What happened? You never actually fixed the problem in the first place. All you did was fix the symptom. So you might as well just take an ibuprofen, but thank God you just went to the chiropractic office, because guess what? You just saved your kidneys, because ibuprofen is terrible for our kidneys, right? So good for you, at least you utilize chiropractic in a pain management way. So yes, of course, you're gonna have to keep going back when the pain comes back, because you're using it as a pain management tool. You're not utilizing it as a vitalistic tool or a lifestyle tool to enhance your being. You're just utilizing it to basically maintain status quo and be mediocre for the rest of your life. So this is that chiropractic didn't work for me. I'm sorry, scenario number one. What that means is you didn't work chiropractic. And it's okay, because that's not on you. That's on the chiropractor that you went to, who decided not to inform you about these things. And okay, we might get blasted in the comments for that, but guess what? On me, you don't need to like me, you just need to know the truth. Scenario number two, those people who rave about chiropractic and they've adopted it into their lifestyle, and it's, they talk about, it's the best thing since sliced bread. Everybody should go to the chiropractor. They're our biggest, what we call chiropractic advocates. And let's talk about what makes them different. Well, they stepped foot into an office that they had a detailed exam process that went through a thorough analysis of why they felt the way they do, not what they felt like. And that doctor put a detailed plan of care in place for that person. Okay, that's step number one. If you're going into a chiropractic office and you're not getting a thorough, detailed evaluation to figure out why you feel the way you do, you should probably turn around and go somewhere else. Okay? Their frequency is dictated by the cause, not the symptoms. So what does that mean? The amount of visits they need is based on what structure is not ideal, not based on how severe the pain is. So you could have a 10 out of 10 out of pain, you could have a 2 out of 10 out of pain, but if the structure is decrepit and you need to change the pattern, you're going to be coming in more frequently than if the structure is more ideal. Okay? It's a more intense plan to fix the underlying cause. It's not a 3 to 6 visit plan. It takes a long period of time, because for these degenerative changes to show up in your spine and in your joints, it can take up to 2 or 3 decades for them to really manifest what's going on. So of course, it's going to take a little bit longer to fix. And even if it takes you 6 months to dive in and fix it, you have to invest 6 months after 30 years of misuse. I mean, that's a pretty good trade-off. All appointments are scheduled out, and frequency is decided by the doctor. So that is me as your chiropractor telling you what your body needs and hoping that you see a value in choosing to do that. And I hope that everybody does. And sometimes it's not in the cards for everybody. We have to do some things a little bit differently to ultimately, hopefully, end up at the same result. And if we have to move and shift things, we can. However, it's not dictated on, well, when it starts to hurt, come back in. Or, well, when do you think you need to come back? You tell me how you did after last visit. That's not okay. All right? And then finally, once they're finished, they choose to add chiropractic to their lifestyle. Why would somebody add chiropractic to their lifestyle? Well, let's figure it out. On each scenario, right, we have two sides. Scenario number one, remember, that is chiropractic didn't work for me. We have Band-Aid care, it's symptom-based, it's allopathic, pain management. It's plain and simple. It's very similar to taking ibuprofen, but it's a little bit more healthy and more holistic. So if you're gonna do anything and you don't want to invest in the scenario 2 where chiropractic is amazing and I'm all bought in, I'd rather you get adjusted than be popping pills to kill pain all day long, 100% of the time. However, if you choose to align yourself in scenario number 1 as Band-Aid care, as pain management, you can't go saying chiropractic doesn't work because you're choosing to not utilize the full benefits of the profession. And that's okay. Just know that you're choosing to use it in a subpar or a mediocre way than it could be. And that's not bad. There's no judgment there. And you just need to know what the full use, the full spectrum, the full vitality about chiropractic is. A lot of times it's not on the patient, it's on the doctor for not explaining that and for not giving the patient the information that they need because they feel that the patient doesn't want to hear it or they don't want to take that much time or whatever that excuse is. Scenario number 2 is a function-based vitalistic corrective care. It is wellness care. It helps us to fix the underlying causes. And that's amazing because when we fix the underlying causes, we can do things to allow you to not necessarily need chiropractic, but to add chiropractic into your holistic lifestyle to increase your longevity, increase your function, increase your vitality, and increase your overall energy so that way you could be the best human being you can be. Now that sounds like a fun tool. That sounds like a fun side to be on. That's the side I want to be on. That's the side I've been on. That's the side I am on. I get adjusted at least once a week, every week, regardless of how I feel, because I know the benefits to me long term far outweigh the decision to, oh, should I go in and get adjusted this week? So let's talk about why we do what we do here at Limitless Chiropractic. It's a 3-step program. Step number 1, evaluate. I need to see what's going on. Number 1, I need to hear from you what is the injury or the issue that brought this on. I'm also going to dig in and ask you, has this happened before? How often? When did it happen? How has it been in the last couple of weeks? We go down a laundry list of questioning on that specific injury, right? We have a thorough physical exam as well, but that in-depth history is huge. Hearing, has this happened before? What's going on? Then I also dig into your past, all right? When we dig into your past in terms of how many car accidents have you been in? What did you do for work? Have you ever been hurt on the job? Have you ever broken any bones or fractured anything? Did you play sports? Any slips, trips, or fall? We have a thorough, comprehensive questionnaire that I ask you, and we sit and we have a dialogue about this issue that you're going through, and some things that you may not even think are relevant in the situation, so we can put an entire picture. Next, we're going to do an intense physical exam. This physical exam is going to be comprised of chiropractic specific checks. We're going to do some function checks, and we're going to do some orthopedic tests just to make sure things are going the right way. And we finish off with spinal x-ray. Spinal x-rays show us exactly where those misalignments are, and I can show you what that structure looks like if it is needed to have any correction at all. Okay? Step number 2, plan of action. That's when part of that is I sit down and analyze your films. Part number 2 is you actually are coming into the office for us to go over that. And I present to you with a clear and accurate plan of care. And my job is to leave you with 0 unanswered questions on that day. So you have a clear understanding of what we need to do so you can get to doing everything that you hope that you can do. Okay? Now, in there, we have clear and realistic expectations. So what do I mean by that? Well, there are certain things that go on in the body, certain deterioration processes that won't just magically disappear and go away. These are things that will potentially have to continually look at to make sure they're not getting any worse over time because of the state in which the spine was when it walked in the building. Okay, and there are other things that we can hopefully potentially help and fix and correct forever. okay? And then step number 3 is execute care, because now we take everything we've done in those first 2 visits and those first 2 steps, we culminate it into this beautiful plan, and now we get to execute. Okay, that's when care begins. That's when the first chiropractic adjustment for you in our facility happens, followed by different home care recommendations that are brought on gradually so you can create these beautiful, healthy habits. So, in Limitless Chiropractic, our job is to help you not be chirodependent. Okay, again, there are certain things that if you come into me with multiple levels of disc deterioration, there is going to be on some level something you will need to do for the rest of your life because of the state of the spine when it got. That's just a simple fact. Okay, now, good news is the goal is to correct certain things. We're going to give you realistic expectations. But let's talk about those people who choose to add chiropractic into their lifestyle afterwards. So, at our practice, once we finish step 3, we execute the plan of care that was presented in step number 2, you're done. You don't have to come back here ever again if you don't want to. But a lot of people choose to. Let me tell you why. They choose to because they understand that the body works every single day, all times during the day. And certain things may not always go right. We slip, we trip, we fall asleep on the couch wrong. We sit with our head in a computer for 60 hours a week. And we understand that there are things we need to do along the way to combat those poor patterns of posture and daily use to be able to have exciting years to come. Those people who choose to add chiropractic into their lifestyle can ideally remove themselves from the cycle of be born, go to school, go to work, and die. Be born, go to work, go to school, and die. They can remove themselves from that cycle, and they can actually have a retirement. They can go on vacation. They can exercise. They can go see the beauty of the country and of the world because they don't have to worry about, oh, how bad is this going to hurt when I'm done? They get to bring joy back into their lives, and they get to have beautiful and amazing time doing it. So that is why a lot of people continue to add chiropractic into their lives after they're done with their plan, because not because they need it, but because they see a value in keeping it in place as a lifestyle tool of health. Remember, the 2 worst ways you can dictate your health with knowing nothing is dictating your health and your choices based on what your insurance covers, number 1, or based on how you feel, number 2. Reason 1 is, guess what? You can feel perfectly healthy and have cancer growth. You could be vomiting like crazy and be having an extremely healthy reaction to some gas station sushi. Symptoms are not always bad. Symptoms are not always good. But just merely measuring your success in health on one of or both of those 2 things, your insurance coverage and how we feel, can set you up for a rude awakening later on. So my hope is that you get into a chiropractic office so that you don't become chirodependent, but you choose to add chiropractic to your lifestyle, not because you need to, but because you see the value in investing in you. So my hope today is that something struck a chord for you. Whether that agitated you, whether that elated you, whether that made you question something. I hope something today struck a chord. So that way you can ponder and decide, do I need to do something to better me or my family or a loved one or a friend? Do I need to change? My job is to provoke questions, and I'm happy to have those conversations with you and help you work your way through that question that you have. My job is not to answer the question for you and tell you what to do. My job is to lay out the facts about your spine based on my exam process to help you make a more informed decision for what you need. So my hope is you take this and you take it to somebody, or you take it to yourself and you think long and hard. And if you think that we're going to be a good spot for you, give us a call. My job is to help you have a more abundant, vitalistic, and long life. We want to add life to your years and years to your life. Thank you all for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. We have videos coming out every week. We'll look forward to next Wednesday's drop of our spinal workshop series. Thank you. Have an awesome rest of your day.